That's right.
There you go. Payback.
You owe us one anyway for when Braden didn't show up, Josh.
All right, 30 seconds. I got you.
30 seconds, guys.
One.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. I'm Gary Sensenstein, along with Josh Jump. He's working the board back at the Wolf, and right off the bat, head football coach Larry McDaniel. And I know, Mac, the weather hasn't been kind to you this week, and you've been spending a lot of times indoors this week.
Yeah, we have, but it's one of those things. Everyone else is dealing with the same elements that we're dealing with. It was interesting when we went inside on Tuesday. Went out to Total Sport out there in Rossford, and that young lady who's the manager of that complex noted that since 6 a.m. she was fielding calls from people needing to get indoors. So we were fortunate enough to get there Tuesday, and then we went to the Fetterman Center over at the University of Toledo last night.
The game Friday night, we stepped outside the press box when it was all over about 10:30. You still had a pretty chilly night on Friday night.
Yeah, you know what? The big thing is if it's not raining and it's not too windy, everyone understands that this time of the year it's going to be chilly in northwest Ohio. So we're prepared for it, and we had practiced outside in that all week. Any opportunity we can get to get outside, we're going to take. So we just try to make our kids as resilient as possible, because at the end of the day, it may be somewhat of an old school way of looking at things, but that's what you're going to play in on a Friday night. So you need to prepare in it.
Big plays by the defense on Friday. Pick six by Gary Batch, the 100-yard special by Dimitri Mitsopoulos. It was a special night for those guys.
It really was. We knew we were going to have to play some good defense, and that was a darn fine football team. I was telling everyone that in their 3 losses, they didn't have their big players. I really believe that had 22 been healthy the entire season, 29, and then their quarterback, that was a much better team than the 6th seed.
Despite the temperatures on Friday night, I thought Brady threw the ball well, and Dimitri, Ryder, Zyrus, and them, they made some big plays as well.
They did. Early on we were really clicking. I think in the second half we faltered a little bit. We just weren't as sharp in the second half as we were in that first half. But at the end of the day, we punched one in when we needed it. So that was the most important thing.
Kind of special teams that were a little problem, though. Blaze Witten, I tell you what, he was under pressure all night long.
Yeah, that was a fast football team.
Yeah.
And when we went back and we looked at our punt coverage, we were deficient in a few areas that we know we got better this week. We did some things with some personnel, but we really just honed in on the technique of understanding that, hey, you've got to get out here and we've got to shore up our blocking scheme. So I think we'll be better. We have to be better, because Central's going to have the same type of speed and bring the same kind of rush. So we have to get better.
Everybody's talking about the rematch with Central. Of course, the last time we played them, it's 28-26, 3:53 to go, and then there's the alleged fumble happens.
Yeah.
That's what everybody keeps talking about from that game.
Yeah. You know what? Officials they're going to do what they're going to do. We still had an opportunity at that time to stop them. We didn't. So you can't look back at those things and talk about what would have been. We had our opportunities, and in that game, barring that, we dropped a couple of touchdown passes. So if we catch those 2 balls and we have 2 scores, then it's not even, that one doesn't become so relevant. So we understand that we have to, I don't want to say play a perfect game, but when you play a team as balanced and as dynamic and as good as Central Catholic is, you have to play as close to a perfect game as possible.
Speaking of guys who are dynamic, Gary Batch, especially on Friday night, making a lot of tackles, filling the hole. Mm-hmm. He was missing in that first Central Catholic rematch, or first Central Catholic matchup. Mm-hmm. How big of a difference will he make on Friday night?
Well, you know what? He was actually in the game, but it was his first game back. Right. So it was a lot different. He was just getting his legs underneath him. He was nowhere near playing at the level that he's playing right now. So it'll be interesting to see. He is a great football player for us. He's accepted his role as a senior. He's the leader of our defense. and he's accepted that role. He just won Player of the Week with the local news media here, and I'm excited to see him play tomorrow. I really am.
What's it take to beat Central?
Well, first and foremost, we have to do a great job of tackling. We know they're going to run the football. John Zell Norrells is as good of a back as we've faced all year, and we know they're going to feature him. So we have got to do a great job in stopping the run. And when I say stopping the run, I don't mean limiting him to no yards, but we've got to do a better job than what we did in that first game. We've got to tackle better. We got to gang tackle, and really that boils down to effort and attitude. You really have to want to get to the ball, so we have to do that. And then I think a big part of the victory for either team is going to be the turnover margin. I think the team that holds on to the ball, that can put together drives without having any huge mistakes, I think that'll be a big part of it as well. And then I also think that from a special team standpoint, not having any big plays in the special teams, I think if we can limit those, that'll also give us a great opportunity to win the game.
Give me an idea what it was like Friday night winning that game at home at Leiden, the first home victory for St. John's in the playoffs.
Well, you know what's interesting about that one, because it was one of those ones because I wasn't super happy with the way we had played the second half, that I even told my coaches, I said, I'm going to get off the headset here because I don't want you guys to hear me being negative. I'm like, you know what, I should be the happiest I've ever been right now because of what we've accomplished. But it's one of those things, Gary, you know, if you can win and play poorly and you feel terrible, or you can lose and play great and you feel real good about it. And the fact that we didn't play really good that second half really put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But once again, I can't say enough about our team and our kids and the fact that we've made it this far. So I really am ecstatic about it.
Yeah, it kind of works both ways. I mean, you want the victory, but then you want things coming out of it that you can kind of teach them for the next week, right?
Without question. And you want confidence coming out when you go to that next week. And that's going to be a big thing tomorrow. You know, some of our guys that maybe didn't play as well as they wanted to, tomorrow they have got to come out confident. If they don't, it'll be a long day, and we'll probably have to replace some people. But you know, you have to be confident in your ability, and in certain positions, you have to understand that if you make a mistake, that's fine. You have to have a short memory.
You know, I know it's late in the year, but it probably in your 3 years has probably been one of your healthier seasons with these guys.
Oh, yeah, without question. And that really is a testament to Coach Winkler and his staff and what we do in the summer, you know, with our lifting and our yoga. You know, we really take a holistic approach to the athlete, understanding that it's a combination of nutrition, strength and conditioning, and also stretching. Casey Hardeman, an English teacher at our school, was our yoga instructor all summer. And just to see where our kids, where they went, where they started to the end was light years, just their flexibility. And we understand that that's a big part of keeping a team injury free. So we're going to continue to do that as we go forward.
Perfect. Mac, enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we come back, senior Sean McConaughey is in the house. He's a National Merit semifinalist. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
2, 1.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now is Senior Sean McConaughey, and he's a National Merit semifinalist. And I guess I was joking with you before about did you cram for the test for this? What was it like getting prepared for that?
Yeah, so I had to take this test sophomore and junior year.
Okay.
So in my sophomore year, I did pretty well, and so because of that, my English teacher he recognized some of the guys who did well sophomore year, and he basically did a prep class to prepare them for junior year, to help them do better junior year, and so that was my form of preparation.
When you get ready, is it more preparation now than maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago? It just seems like you get so many guys that are involved. Are there tests you look at online? How do you prepare for this kind of thing?
Well, I've been taking standardized tests for a while. You have to take one to get into St. John's, and then AP tests and stuff. So I guess I'm just kind of used to taking standardized tests at this point.
Give me an idea what the test is like.
Well, it's like kind of stressful due to time constraints. So it's just a bunch of sections. It was exactly like the SAT. Really, this test was exactly like the SAT. And so there was my math section, and so you're kind of like stressed while you're doing it because you're trying to get the answer right, but you also looming over your head. There's this like countdown clock, and you're just like hustling to get it all done. So it's a little stressful, but I guess I did pretty
When
good.
you told you were a semifinalist, what did that mean to you?
Oh, it was an honor. I knew it was a possibility going into this, but I knew I had to like perform well, and so when I took the test, I felt kind of good about it. But when I finally found out, it was a relief, and I was like super proud of myself for being able to achieve this.
When you took it the first time, what was your reaction after you got done, and what did you learn after you took it the first time?
Well, the first time it was kind of like a good, because I was a sophomore, and so I hadn't taken my SAT or my ACT yet, so I thought, oh, this will just get me ready for that. And it was pretty stressful, but when I came out of it and I got my results back and I did well, it gave me some confidence going into my junior year where I had to take this test again and my ACT and my SAT. So I guess I got more confident when I found out that I did pretty well sophomore year.
In the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of perfect scores, SAT, ACT wise. Was that kind of a goal of yours as well, kind of coming into the year?
I was just trying to do as best as I could. Okay. I mean, I didn't get a perfect score on that or my SAT or my ACT, but I did well, and that's what I was really going to do. I wasn't going to retake anything and try and strive for perfection. I was going to do the best I could, really.
Now you're a semifinalist. When do you get informed if you're a finalist down the road here?
Yeah, so I had to do an application process online where I just, I sent them my activity resume and I had to write an essay for them. And so then I'll find out if I'm a finalist. I think it's in like early January. And then from that pool, about half the finalists get scholarship money.
Speaking of scholarship money, what kind of schools are you looking at?
Okay, so I applied to 7 schools. I applied to Notre Dame, Case Western, Ohio State and Michigan, Cincinnati, Xavier, and Dayton. So,
is there a particular program you're looking at?
Well, I really want to go to Notre Dame,
okay.
And I want to study at Mendoza, their College of Business,
okay.
And also I kind of like the math side of it, so like statistical analysis or data in that area.
Yeah. Now, when you got your scores, did you give all the credit to your parents, or any parent in particular, your mom, dad, who's got the smarts in the family?
I guess it goes back to my grandma, really.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a math teacher, and so I guess I credit all my math smarts to her.
Again, what was the reaction from your family? I'm sure they were just
they were ecstatic. When I found out, my counselor told me to call my parents immediately, and so I called them both, and they were like super excited for me, and so yeah, they were really proud.
And the thing is, you being at St. John's, you see a lot of guys who are national merit semifinalists. Yeah. It's kind of like it's kind of expected at St. John's, and you just kind of keep the run going.
Yeah, I know there was at least one guy last year too, so it's kind of like this thing we got going at St. John's where a lot of guys are up there either getting commended or getting the semifinalist in. So, yeah.
Perfect. Sean, nice meeting you. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk to head swimming coach Laura Yaros is in the house. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Good job,
3, 2, 1.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now again, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on? I know you're dealing with swimming.
Hi, Gary. Coaching, working on 8th grade projects with my 8th graders, and just spending time with family.
Now he's swimming for like another right around the corner.
Actually, the last Friday in October, I think it was October 24th, 2020. So it's a good endurance sport to build off of. But expectations for the season, my kids are willing to work and they have goals. I tell them that I need to write harder workouts and they need to swim faster. So to get better, get out of their comfort zone.
Have you? But speaking of their comfort zone, have you changed their the way they work out?
Yes, absolutely. We added in our stretching routine, we added strength bands, so we're strengthening their shoulders. The swimmers use their shoulders all the time, so we see a lot of injuries with shoulder problems. So we added in bands to strengthen their shoulders, and Coach Contos has been a very good person to talk to and help me critique those athletes and help them become better and get their shoulders stronger. Also, I have to write workouts to push them, to get them better, to get them faster, and which I've done, and they're ready to go and ready to fight.
You know, I looked at your roster. You're still a young team, but you were talking about the group you had as freshmen 2 years ago. Kind of like this is their time now as juniors, isn't it?
Yes, I have a lot of my juniors here. We 2 years ago, I think I had 10 boys walk in as a freshman, and now they're juniors, and they're a very close class. And I've just seen them grow within the 2 years of the program, and they're leaders. They're leaders on the team. They're encouraging each other. When a set's hard in practice, Austin Reed is out there telling everyone, "Come on, you can do this. Push through it. You got this." And that's a huge encouragement for a swimmer that's going through it, as well as pushing his athletes and his swimmers.
Give me an idea what a practice is like.
Oh, it's long. Well, let's practice. I mean, my kids are up Mondays and Wednesdays in the weight room with Coach Contos, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at Northview with me, and then we turn around and jump in the pool for 2 hours every day after school. We warm up, and then we get right to it. After they're done warming up, they get a set to concentrate on their stroke, whether it's a stroke set on a breaststroke or butterfly, or if it's a sprint set. Today we did a sprint set, and it was basically sprinting all outs for a time period, and then resting, and then bringing their heart rate down and sprinting again. So they're pretty tired today.
Your coaching staff pretty much the same as a year ago?
No, we actually have 2 new coaches.
Okay.
So I have my right-hand man, Andrew Shoup. He's awesome. He's been with the program for 7 years, so the kids absolutely adore him and love him. And then I have 2 new girls, Maddie Consul, which is a great addition. She's an alum from Notre Dame, and Ellie Files is also a Notre Dame grad. So they've actually come through the program with me and know my expectations, which is great because it's been such an easy transition.
So how soon did they start swimming? When did the meets kick in?
The meets, our first meet is the NOAC relays. It's a fun meet. It's a great meet to go to because the kids it's a relay meet. There's no pressure. We'll see Northview, Southview, Oak Harbor, and it's just all relays. And that's on the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday.
So it's like your Black Friday. No, you're not going to be shopping. You're going to be swimming.
No, I'll be shopping in the morning, and then the meet starts at noon. So I'll be very tired with lots of coffee.
Is there anything in particular you're looking at here from Black Friday? Was it the first thing in the morning when you go out?
No, I don't know. I'm shopping for myself. I usually shop for myself on Black Friday, and then the presents on Amazon come.
Okay. Key swimmers and divers for the year.
So we have two new divers. They're freshmen for the boys, and they've been diving with Phil for the last couple of years. Corey Shade and Tyler Wright are going to be a strong addition because we have not had strong divers in a while. And then we have Jack Van Cott in the breaststroke and the sprint freestyle, Jaden Brookins with our distance events, and Evan and Austin. Austin swims backstroke, also can start sprinting, and then Evan Carroll, which is Joe Carroll, which is an alum and my boss. He's the son of Evan is the son of Joe, and he's a distance and breaststroker. So we have a strong team.
Good to see you, Lori.
It's good to see
talk
you.
to you.
Thank
How'd
you.
you like doing your live streaming
I
thing
forgot
with your,
about that.
with your great,
I
with your
know.
nice blonde hair? Go wave to everybody. When we come back, we're going to talk to swimmers Evan Carroll, Austin Reed are in the house. We are live from sidelines on Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
Two, one.
And welcome back. We're live from sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. I'm Gary Sensenstein along with Josh Jump. He's working the board back at the Wolf. Junior swimmers Evan Carroll's in the house, Austin Reed as well. And Evan, I'll get to you first because the Carrolls have been around a long time in swimming. And you pretty much, since you have the name, you have to swim, don't you?
I mean, not really. It was kind of my choice, but I thought I was going to play basketball going into my freshman year, but then I realized not that great, so I decided to swim. So, I mean, it was my choice too.
So how long have you been swimming?
Ever since I was 4, I swam summer clubs, like so with country clubs, and then my freshman year was like my first time swimming winter, and then I swam that summer for Coach Yaris's club team Tsunami. So and then I've been swimming year-round since.
Yeah, when you swim summer, is it a good lead-in into the season for high school?
I mean, it helps a lot with your training because you kind of expect it, but swimming the fall helps a lot more than summer does because you're not behind the 8 ball as much as you are if you don't swim fall. So
Give me an idea of the events that you're in.
I swim the 500 freestyle, so that's the longest high school event. I mean, it's pretty difficult. Just got to learn to pace yourself. And then the 100 breaststroke it's hard, but it's not as bad as some people think it is. And also in the 200 IM sometimes. So.
Now, the thing is, when you go into a season, are these kind of strokes that you've been involved with for years, or are these the things Lori's throwing at you and said, hey, you're doing this?
The breaststroke I've always been kind of decent at. Like,
Okay.
I would swim that during club season and everything. But the 500 freestyle I was thrown into that last year. She told me I was swimming it one meet, and I was like, okay. And I turned out to swim it pretty decent. So she said, you're swimming that every meet from now on. I was like, okay.
Give me an idea of kind of the progress you made with that.
So the first time I swam the 500 was like my freshman year, and it was not very great. But I swam it last year, and I was super nervous because I didn't know what to do and everything. So I just tried pacing off like one of the people in the middle, and it turned out that I ended up getting I think third in that race.
Perfect.
And so I just learned to pace off people and kind of just keep working hard at it. So.
Yeah, again, also joining us, Austin Reed, and we were talking like you didn't even take up swimming till your freshman year. What took you so long?
I thought I was a soccer player
Okay.
until Coach Eros kind of recruited me over the years in the academy, and finally I decided to take the leap of faith.
And again, you talk about leap of faith, taking on the breaststroke. How'd that come about?
Taking on the backstroke.
Backstroke, excuse me.
Yeah, the backstroke. I just kind of did it one day, and I've been working on it, and it's just kind of evolved from there.
You guys were part of her class, that freshman class 2 years ago, and the expectations are kind of coming around. You kind of sensed that coming into the season?
Yeah, because the new freshmen are coming in, and we're kind of expected to lead by example, and we're also trying to lead by times, and we're just trying to get up there.
What have you learned in the last 2 years swimming at St. John's?
Oh, I mean, everything from working hard to being able to manage your time, from getting up in the morning to being able to do all your homework. It's basically a life sport.
Do you ever get used to it?
No, never.
How about for you, Evan?
I mean, coming in like my freshman year, having all those, we didn't have any seniors my freshman year, so going off those juniors, like
Right.
seeing them as role models, it's kind of come full circle for us. Like as juniors now, we got to be leaders on the team and everything. So, I mean, as Austin said, you also never really get used to it. It's always like a whole new thing every year. So,
Give me an idea of your personal goals and your kind of team goals coming into the season.
my personal goal is like for the 500 is to be under 5 minutes and of course make it to districts, and then the 100 breaststroke be under 105, and then maybe make it in another individual event hopefully, and then team goals probably second at track. So
Perfect. Austin, how about for you?
I want to try to be top 5 in the 100-meter backstroke, and I want to make the districts for my 200-meter freestyle.
Again, we were talking about practice, and Lori kind of described it. Can you kind of describe the practices for me?
Practices range from, like, once in a while we'll get a recovery day to other days where it feels like she's trying to drown us, but those days make us a lot better.
But the thing is, you guys do more than swimming, don't you, Evan?
yes, in the mornings we lift with Coach Contos on Mondays and Wednesdays, and so we do a lot of strength training. And then over the summer, I worked with Jack and Jaden. We would run sometimes with Coach Contos, like do sprints and everything. So
We were talking to Coach Mack earlier. The football team does yoga. Are you guys involved with yoga or anything like that, where you stretch or anything like that?
No.
No. Again, we're talking about strength, and Lori was talking about your shoulders. Anything in particular you're doing to develop your shoulders, or even more to just protect your shoulders?
I mean, I'm trying to help like get rid of some tendonitis. I had some tendonitis like the last 2 weeks of club swim, so I'm trying to get rid of that and get fully healthy again. But it's starting to come like back to 100%, so I'm just trying to like play it safe, but also like trying to work my hardest. So
Perfect. Evan, good to see you. Austin, good to see you as well. When we come back, junior swimmers Jack Van Cott and Jaden Brookins are in the house. We are live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
Four, three, two, one.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now, junior swimmers Jack Van Cott and Jaden Brookins. And Jack, I'll get to you first. I mean, you finished 9th in the state last year in the breaststroke. And kind of remind me of that year and what it felt like last year for you.
I had a lot of focus. I was really driven. I set goals for what I wanted to do, and I pursued them throughout the whole season.
You know, again, you talk about setting goals. Was your goal to do that well in the States? And again, looking forward to this year, what kind of goals have you set for this year?
I really wanted a good base for going into my junior year. I wanted to get some good cuts, so junior nationals, all those, just that whole area of cuts. And then, I don't know, I just wanted to do the best that I could. I didn't really,
Yeah, and of course, Jaden Brookins is joining us as well. Again, your expectations coming into the season?
Into this season, I really want to drop in the 500 and 200 free, but also in the 100 free because we need a good relay in the 400 free.
Again,
relay.
when you come into a season, you're looking at particular times, and how do you focus on the season before it gets started?
Well, really, during fall season in swim, I just try and get into a groove for going into high school season, and yeah.
You know, Jack, before we came on, you talked about being analytical about your swimming season. Talk again a little bit about that, and how do you approach this season?
I think this season's a bit different. I have to set the base for what I want and what colleges are going to see for me to go on in my future career. So I'm going to hold back on being analytical, and I'm just going to swim. I'm going to train really hard, just do what I have to do, and try to get the best times possible.
Again, talk about this team a little bit. Again, we've touched on it before. You guys, as freshmen, when you came in, a highly touted class. What does this season mean for you guys?
I have a lot of, this season I think is big, but what really excites me is the upcoming seasons. We have some good guys coming on, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. This season, I see at least 2 district relays, one in the final heat, placing maybe, maybe even a state relay. I'm not sure. So I see some incredible improvements. Since last year.
Jaden, do you feel like the older guy now that when the freshmen and sophomores approach you? What do you tell these guys?
Yeah, I do feel like a little bit of a elder of the team now, but I think that we'll do pretty good this year. I really want us to place at track one or first through third, and we have a good freshman, Jack's brother, Josh. So I have high hopes for him too.
Yeah, what do you tell the kids when they come in?
Um, I just tell them, just get through it and then make it to the end of the season.
Is that really the hardest part? Is just getting, we talked before with the other guys about just getting into the routine of a swimming season.
Yeah, probably the first 2 weeks are the worst part of getting into it. That first practice feels awful, but once you get past those 2 weeks, it feels a lot better.
Jack, was there anything in the off season you did to get ready for this year?
We went up to Coach Contos, wrestling coach, and me and Jaden told him that we want to work on these are our weak points, and this is what we want to get better at. And he wrote a program, and that's what we've been doing. So start of the past summer, we did that. So we've been listening the whole summer. We did tsunami, club swimming. Really, I haven't really stopped.
Wow. The strength of this team, what would you say the strength of the team is?
I think that we have gained a considerable amount of depth. I think that as a whole, the community of the team's a lot better. There's more camaraderie. Everything just in general is coming together, and it's a really solid team.
Is there anything particular you're looking forward to this season, Jaden?
Yeah, our relay, the medley relay, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out this year.
Guys, good to see both of you. Jaden, good to see you. Jack, good to see you again as well. When we come back, we have Notre Dame swimmers Paige Chaffee and Lauren Deutschman in the house. We are live from sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
1.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. Joining me now, Notre Dame swimmers Paige Chaffee and Lauren Deutschman. And Paige, got to ask you first. I mean, I haven't had you on the show before, but you've been swimming pretty much most of your life, haven't you?
Yeah, I couldn't swim last year because I transferred,
Okay.
so I had to sit out the second half of the
Where
season.
were you before?
Northview.
Northview. Any particular reason why you wanted to? Was it mostly to swim at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I just was ready for like more challenges and like it wasn't really challenging there.
Okay. And Lauren, you were on the show a year ago. What's it been like for you in the last year?
Nothing much has really changed, but this year has been a little more difficult and more challenging, so it's like we're building up more endurance and we're building up more strength, so I feel like the season's going to be really good because of that.
Give me an idea what you're looking forward to.
I'm really looking forward to working out and like getting better along with the team. And I'm really excited because we're going to a lot of meets this year, like Viking down in Cleveland and districts and sectionals and stuff like that. So yeah.
Are there any, when the season starts, are there certain meets that you look forward to more than the other ones?
I know Viking, the one I just mentioned, it's in December, so that's like one of the biggest ones coming up. But other than that, we just have some dual meets, so it's not huge meets that we have to go to, but those are always fun.
How about for you, Paige?
I'm excited to go to Viking too, and I'm excited to swim like districts and sectionals this year.
Give me an idea of the upcoming season. I mean, you're the new kid on the block at Notre Dame. Give me an idea of the team you're with right now.
They're really nice. Like they're so supportive and they're just fun to be with.
When you're swimming in high school compared to summertime, can you give me an idea what the difference is for you?
High school is probably more competitive because you have to like place really well and score points for your team. Yeah.
And of course, again, Lauren joining us again. Talk about a year ago now. What are the expectations for this team coming into this season?
I feel like the expectations this year might be a lot higher than they were last year because we have a really good team coming in. So I feel like now that the workouts are harder and coach is pushing us more to our full capability, that I feel like there are higher expectations, and I feel like we're going to do really good this year.
When you go into a season, do you look at other schools and other swimmers, or do you kind of just look at your time and what you're doing?
In the beginning of the season, it's more like within our own team because we're trying to build up what we have and what our potential could be. Then kind of like midway through season towards the end, we look at other teams and how we compare to them, but mostly it's like within our own and how we're doing and how we're improving.
Perfect. Paige, joining Notre Dame, what was probably been the biggest adjustment for you?
The workouts are a lot harder than when I was at Northview, and she like pushes us every practice, but I like it.
In what way are they different for you? Is it just the amount of time that you're swimming? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, we swim for like 2 hours every day, and then we have morning practices, and the workouts, it's hard like every practice.
Yeah, Lauren, give me an idea. What's the weight training like for you guys?
We have it every Monday and Wednesday, and it's after school for 45 minutes. And we're working right now a lot on our core, like trying to strengthen that out and trying to build up a base before we fully get into more strengthening.
Again, your typical practice, give me an idea what your day is like.
After school, before school even, we have an hour morning practice. Then after school, we have a 2-hour practice. So it's a lot of, everyone is sore right now. So it's kind of a lot of work, and we're putting in our best effort. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Is that for you, Paige? Has that been the most difficult adjustment for you?
Yeah, because every workout she just keeps beating us down, and yeah.
Well, but that's the idea. It's like to build you down and
4
build you right
minutes
back up again.
Yeah.
Is it different? You've been with Lori for a few years now, Lauren.
Yeah.
Give me an idea. Has much changed, or is she tougher now than maybe she was a couple years ago?
Yeah, I'd say she is, definitely, because although I have moved up lane, so that probably explains a little bit more about it, because like the higher lane you go up, the more challenging it is. So she has definitely made me into a better swimmer, so I feel like it's being more challenging for me personally.
You talk about the lane. Describe, why is that so much more difficult?
It's just depending on how much experience you've had and how much you can keep up with the times. So basically, I don't know. She's just like trained me into being a more like endurance swimmer sort of thing. So yeah.
So
5 minutes in.
For Paige, for you again, showing up at Notre Dame, the competition, is it just kind of ratcheted up for you?
Yeah. Yeah, like the teams that we compete against at Notre Dame are like a lot more difficult than the ones I competed against at Northview.
The meets are coming right around the corner. When's it going to be your first meet?
Our first meet is the day after Thanksgiving, and it's the relay meet.
Now, Lori's going to shop early on Thanksgiving. How about you guys? You're going to get up at 6 a.m. and do some early shopping?
Oh, I'm gonna sleep in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Me too.
especially when you have a meet that day, right?
Yeah.
The day of a meet, how do you get ready for a meet?
I like to not get up super early, but get up pretty, I don't know, and have like a good breakfast, but not too much. But I just like to prepare for it in that way, so to get myself ready.
How about for you, Paige?
Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing. I don't like to sleep a ton because then that makes me feel more tired, but I like to eat a good breakfast.
Guys, good to meet both of you. Lauren, good to see you again.
Thank
Paige,
you.
nice meeting you as well. When we come back, Director of Athletics Bob Ronay with the Chick-fil-A Athlete and Teacher of the Week. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.
Two, one.
And welcome back. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. You're listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf. I'm Gary Sensenstein along with Josh Jump. He's working the board back at the Wolf. Joining me now, Director of Athletics Bob Ronay with the Chick-fil-A Athlete and Teacher of the Week.
And again, a great thank you to our people over in Airport Highway, Chick-fil-A, for supporting us again with these two awards. Our Faculty Administrator Staff Person of the Week is teacher Garrett Malone. Garrett teaches up in an academy. Garrett really helped. He was one of the principal organizers of this past Monday's Helping Boys Thrive Summit that was hosted at St. John Jesuit, which was a tremendous success. Mr. Malone stated that the summit was the best thing he has ever been a part of at SJJ in his 8 years. Again, thank you to Mr. Malone and all that were involved in making this great summit available at St. John Jesuit. Man, we had a lot of great reviews about it. It was just something, a little bit different, but, a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and a lot of people don't realize it came on the heels of open house, so Garrett and everybody else that organized and everything and did all this extra work had to get ready for, open house, which was on Sunday, and turn around, get everything ready, and put this together. But it was something that they've been planning for about the last 4 or 5 months. So congratulations to them. Student Athlete of the Week is football player Gary Batch. Gary helped lead the Titans defense in a 42-34 playoff victory at Lyon Field against Westerville South last Friday in the quarter regional finals of the playoffs. Gary had a pick-six touchdown in the first quarter and was the anchor of a strong defensive performance throughout the night with the double-digit tackles and 2 total interceptions. So congratulations to Gary. I tell you, he's been a real anchor back there. Once he came back, he's been hurt. He's got the shoulder injury, but once he came back and everything, that defense has really turned around.
The ticket situation for tomorrow.
Well, right now you can go online. Okay. If you go on our site, look at the playoff, go on our webpage, go to sjjtitans.com, go to the football, or on the front page. You can go online and purchase tickets. It's the only way now that you can get pre-sale tickets. We did have a limited amount of paper tickets that we were selling in the bookstore today from 8 to 6, but they're not available tomorrow. But you can get online and get tickets, or obviously there'll be plenty of tickets down at the host site tomorrow, which is at Clay High School.
Since the football team is playing a second-round playoff game, how does it affect basketball season right now?
Well, obviously, the whole season's been affected because this is an odd year. So normally our regular season is over before basketball or hockey actually starts. This year, both hockey and basketball started on that Friday of our last regular season game which was against Lima. So it's an odd year. I mean, usually, because the last couple of years we've been in the playoffs, so those kids are missing a week, maybe 2 weeks. And now it's almost, it could be, at least 2 weeks now, if not more than that.
Last weekend, hockey, a couple scrimmages with Gilmore Academy, St. Charles. I understand they have a couple scrimmages this weekend as well.
Yeah, they've got Culver Academy on Saturday. Varsity tips off at 7. JV is playing Gilmore. Again, that one starts at 5:30. And then hockey's over at BGSU on Sunday at 11:30 against Culver Academy. And all of them are all scrimmages.
Sports banquets are right around the corner. Reminder for everybody.
Well, we got on the 19th, next Tuesday at the Pinnacle, we got soccer, cross country, and crew. And depending how if things work out, football will be delayed, and it will be. We haven't got a date set. If we're looking forward that they are going to be delayed. But one thing I want to say that you golf people, if football wins, we're looking to move golf because golf and football is going to go together. We're going to look to go golf on Tuesday with the other sports.
Some signings this week as well.
Yeah, it was. We had 2 signings. We had Teddy Wagner. He's going up in Michigan, and then we had Joey Apanu, who's going to BGSU. And both great kids, good athletes, and great students, just great people. But they get a chance to go on and go to that next level. And another interesting fact, when Joey gets there, I think he'll be the 5th. There'll be 5 guys there now playing that graduate from St. John's.
Bob, always good to see you. I want to thank the folks from Sidelines as always. Good to have Coach Larry McDaniel in the house talking about that Central Catholic rematch tomorrow night. Senior Sean McConaughey, National Merit semifinalist. Good to have him on the show as well. Head swimming coach Larry Yaros. Swimmers Evan Carroll, Austin Reed, Jack Van Cott, Jaden Brookins, Paige Chaffee, and Lauren Deichman. Next time I talk to you will be tomorrow night at 6:30 as your St. John's Jesuit Titans take on the Central Catholic Fighting Irish. Again, it's a second round game at Clay tomorrow night. I'm Gary Sensenstein saying good night and all the best. We were live from Sidelines in Maumee. You were listening to the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show on 107.7 The Wolf.